Frameshift drive charging. Ready to engage. Scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. System scan complete. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scoping. System scan complete. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scoping. System scan complete. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Warning, temperature critical. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one, engage. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
Mining campaign success for Zemina Torval. Pilots Federation alert. The Torval Mastopolos mining initiative in the LTT-198 system has outperformed Recon Construction's rival campaign. Pilots delivered mined resources to the megaships Pride of Bitterwood and Tobias's gift to support the competing corporations. Ultimately, it was the new subsidiary of Mastopolos Mining that received the greatest quantities. Senator Zemina Torval provided a statement to Imperial media. This is an auspicious beginning for my new enterprise. I am pleased to offer rewards to my supporters at the Pride of Bitterwood in the EGM 559 system. In addition to credits, the top 75% of Torval supporters will be provided with an experimental mining laser and permanent permit access to LTT-198. Constantia Torval, one of the Senator's daughters, has assumed the role of Director of Operations with Torval Mastopolos Mining. There has been no comment from the Mastopolos family regarding the subsidiary, which is being run autonomously by Zemina Torval. CEO Emmerich Koenig confirmed that Recon Construction will soon withdraw from LTT-198. Pilots who supported its efforts can now claim reimbursement from Tobias's gift in the EGM 559 system. The top 10% of Koenig supporters will receive an experimental abrasion blaster as well. LTT-198 State Limited has reinstated permit control for entry to the LTT-198 system. A new starport will shortly be constructed and administered by Torval Mastopoulos Mining. Onion Head's medical benefits verified. The Interstellar Health Organization has validated the Kumo crew's claim that Onion Head gamma strain, also known as Helix, has medicinal properties. Dr. Nisha Devi, one of the IHO's senior researchers, told the media, "We have analyzed user data in the independent system
System scan complete.
where Onion Head gamma strain is on sale. Unexpectedly, the initial marketing claims that Helix can be used for
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Medicinal purposes have been authenticated. A significant percentage of customers are believed to be using the drug for healthcare reasons rather than recreational use. Reports show that it is a successful treatment for many psychological disorders, bringing faster results than conventional neuroleptics. It may also provide effective symptomatic relief for patients with musculoskeletal conditions. Several research facilities are now running clinical trials on the viability of using Onion Head gamma strain in medical practice. The IHO is monitoring these studies and will publish the results. Vandermeer Corporation, the largest pharmaceutical company in the Federation, published a statement from its head of marketing Ronan Roscoe. These conclusions are biased and informed by inaccurate data. We maintain that all forms of Onion Head are dangerous narcotics with long-term detriments to health. Vandermeer's antipsychotic treatments are effective without the side effects of mild psychedelic experiences. A fractured Federation. Shadow President Felicia Winters has claimed that further systems declaring independence could severely damage the Federation. Her statement was in response to the conflict in the Coemba system, which resulted in more federal factions seceding from the superpower. Dozens of others are now openly considering breaking away and becoming independent. Addressing Congress, Shadow President Winters said, "We now face the possibility of large-scale rebellion as more citizens reject intrusion into their private lives. Unless these authoritarian surveillance laws are repealed, we risk many more factions and allies losing their trust in any federal government." Vice President Jerome Archer responded, "The Proactive Detection Bureau provides increased security and decreased crime levels for all federal systems. I deeply regret that a few have rejected its benefits, but we must concentrate on the bigger picture." The Sovereign newsfeed described how the newly seceded systems are celebrating freedom from government scrutiny. It claims that up to 50 other factions have expressed interest in becoming independent. However, the Federal Times reported that more pragmatic leaders have voiced concerns that they are now more vulnerable. There are particular fears of retaliation by pro-Federation groups or attacks from opportunistic hostile forces. Conspiracy theorist finds network home. Independent journalist Flint Firemaker Lafos has announced that the Rewired network will broadcast Kit Fowler's conspiracy-laden show End Times. Lafos, notorious for his own sensationalist claims, announced, "Finally, someone else who sees things as they really are." Kit Fowler's perceptive views match his technical genius. By retransmitting his End Times broadcasts, I'll be helping people resist the narrative conditioning being pumped into our minds by the faceless elite. Kit Fowler provides specialized engineering services from his workshop in the Kapoya system. He has used his show to make many outlandish claims over the years. These include labeling the shadowy figure Salvation an AI construct, accusing Utopia of secretly creating a new species of human, and arguing that the universe's true shape is being concealed by superpower-sponsored holograms. Lafos advertised Fowler's content with an excerpt from the most recent End Times episode. Years ago, a sinister group called Black Flight committed multiple crimes, including murder, to suppress evidence of Thargoid activity after the First War. The mainstream newsfeeds buried the story, of course, but the fearless truth-seekers among us have repeatedly named the Colonia, Nietzsche and Wasat systems as locations where the Black Flight operated. There's a real buzz in that region right now. Something's going on that they don't want you to know about. Never give up our search for the right facts, people. Anti-NMLA forces win Marlonist civil war. Pilots Federation alert. The conflict in the Hyades sector ROPB-62 system has been won by the exiled Marlonist Assembly of Baltazine. Support from independent pilots played a key role in defeating the Marlonism Reformation Party. The faction's entire leadership has been arrested, with their replacements vowing to reshape it along politically moderate lines. Minister Octavia Volkov made a declaration of victory to the Marlonist parliament. The neo-Marlonists have been crushed and Aaron White is dead, a casualty of the war his terrorist paymasters began. I deeply regret that our society has suffered this, but have no regrets at destroying the NMLA's political wing once and for all. Prime Consul Coyote Tao sent assurances to the Alliance, Empire and Federation that they should view this as confirmation that the Marlonist colonies are your steadfast allies in the fight against the NMLA. ACT has drafted in extra resources to investigate the Marlonism Reformation Party's ties to Theta Group, the terrorist bomb makers responsible for last month's devastating starport attacks. With First Minister Jenna Fairfax confirmed as among the fatalities, Acting First Minister Amrita Ross has organized a snap election to democratically appoint a new leader for the Marlonist colonies. LTT-198 hosts competing mining campaigns. Pilots Federation alert. Torval Mastopoulos Mining and Recon Construction have requested deliveries of mined resources to the LTT-198 system. LTT-198 State Limited.
Surface scan by 50%.
It's controlling
Surface scan complete.
faction. will only allow one of the rival corporations to remain permanently. The company with the most successful campaign will establish a new starport in the permit-controlled system. Senator Zemina Torval, who has sole control of the Mastopolos mining subsidiary, announced, "My company is working on an experimental mining laser with increased range. To achieve this, shipments of mined resources must be delivered in sufficient numbers to the Pride of Bitterwood megaship in LTT 198. Emmerich Koenig, CEO of Recon Construction, outlined a counter-initiative. "We will pay handsomely for deliveries of mined resources to the megaship Tobias's gift in the LTT 198 system." Both factions have requested units of coltan, gallite, praseodymium and silver. LTT 198 State Limited will provide all contributors to these initiatives with temporary system permits lasting 1 week. Leaked report exposes Aegis failures. The Aegis Board of Inquiry's initial findings have been leaked to journalists, with several problems within the anti-Xeno organization detailed in the files. Vox Galactica journalist Alexei Keel reported on its contents. The independent inquiry into Aegis is in its early stages, making this disclosure of delicate information all the more embarrassing. Although only a summary, it highlights shortcomings that were immediately apparent to the investigators. The leaked files outline a pattern of poor internal organization and negligence. One claim is that Aegis accepted its heavy reliance on independent pilots entering combat situations against the Thargoids. A lack of technological breakthroughs since the first generation of AX weaponry is also criticized. Professor Tesro, who has since resigned, is singled out for prioritizing communication with the Thargoids rather than developing quickly deployed defenses. Interview transcripts show that some Aegis personnel consider the inquiry itself to be part of a larger agenda. A recurring claim is that the superpowers directly contributed to Aegis's inefficiency by reducing funding, and are now scapegoating Aegis management for a lack of progress. Dr. Paul Borman, chair of the Board of Inquiry, said that only the final report should be considered official. It is unclear when the Borman report, as some newsfeeds refer to it, might be ready for publication. Rival corporations compete in LTT 198. Torval Mastopoulos Mining and Recon Construction have both established a presence in the LTT 198 system. Marlon Royce, business analyst for Vox Galactica, reviewed the situation.
Surface scan by 50%.
It is highly unusual
Surface scan complete.
for 2 mega...
Orbital flight engaged. landing gear deployed. No gravity warning. Frameshift drive charging.
To set up new headquarters in the same place. But Mastopoulos Mining and Recon Construction have always competed aggressively for mining and transportation contracts, so it seems a new chapter in their rivalry has begun.
Fuel scoping.
This permit-locked system is controlled by the independent faction LTT-198 State Limited. Insiders claim that it demands
Fuel scoping complete.
a fortune from both corporations in return for granting passage to its ships and allowing construction of industrial complexes on the planet Dini. This is the first significant move from Senator Zemina Torval's new company, an autonomous offshoot of Mastopoulos Mining.
Frameshift drive charging.
It may be that Recon Construction's presence is an effort to crush their old enemy before she can acquire further corporate strength. The Imperial Herald reported that Constantia Torval, one of Zemina...
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Torval's daughters, has traveled from the Sintini system to LTT-198. It is believed Constantia has taken command of Torval Mastopoulos Mining's operations. Onion Head legality sparks debate. The introduction of Onion Head gamma
Fuel scoping.
by the Kumo crew has reignited long
Fuel scoping complete.
arguments around the popular psychedelic drug. An interview with Sander LeChance, spokesperson for the Coalition for Legalization, was published by Vox Galactica. I have yet to see evidence that Onion Head is more harmful than common recreational substances. Open-minded people in independent systems are now discovering this for themselves. In response, other newsfeeds featured a range of opinions. On Akanar, foppish rogues of the Federation such as Zachary Rackham and Sir Randolph Plaskett may feel comfortable wooing trade tycoons with the outlawed weed, but legalizing low-cost Onion Head would risk the whole empire collapsing into a stupor. The Pegasi Sentinel, the popularity of Helix is steadily growing, and the revenue it generates will undoubtedly benefit those fortunate to live within Archon Delain's dominion. Sold today, Imperial hedonists such as Senator Leatrix and Duchess Rouncival may offer such illicit treats at their decadent parties, but bombarding the masses with this cheap narcotic will have the entire Federation chasing unicorns. The Sovereign, tourists from many independent worlds are booking holidays to the Alici, Baraswar, Kishbako, Narstrand and Nokori systems, where the gamma strain of Onion Head is legal. There is no shortage of Alliance citizens following suit, which may pressure the Assembly
System scan complete.
to formally legislate one way or the other. Marlonist civil war declared. Pilots Federation alert. Conflict has erupted in the Hyades sector ROPB-62 system between two factions of the Marlonist colonies. The exiled Marlonist Assembly of Baltazine has declared war against the Marlonism Reformation Party, which acts as the political wing of the NMLA. Political relations degenerated into open combat following the NMLA's recent attacks, with acting First Minister Amrita Ross's efforts to negotiate a peaceful resolution proving unsuccessful. A new megaship, Freedom's Voice, has entered service. It is acting as the operational base for the forces of the exiled Marlonist Assembly of Baltazine. Supporters of the Marlonism Reformation Party are gathering at the Steel Majesty megaship. This was formerly used by the Neo-Marlonist Order of Madrid to flee from their home system. Minister Octavia Volkov announced in Parliament, Aaron White and his collaborators are directly responsible for tens of thousands of deaths. I will not rest until they are defeated and brought to justice. Minister Aaron White sent this response from his private vessel. Volkov's unlawful strike is a violation of our colony's charter. We call upon all true Marlonists to defend us from this illegal act of aggression. The Alliance, Empire and Federation have informed the Marlonist Consulate that they consider this conflict to be a strictly internal matter. Victory against Federation for independent factions. Pilots Federation alert. New Kuwemba Labour has successfully seceded from the Federation and inspired other systems to declare independence. The conflict in the Kuwemba system ended with federal loyalists lead Shotep for equality being defeated. As a result, all systems controlled by New Kuwemba Labour will remain independent. This has inspired Selkana Labour, United HIP 108095 Values Party and Mutumu Future to also sever ties with the Federation, spreading the rebellion across a further 28 systems. The victory was announced by Governor Sonal Mishra, the leader of New Kuwemba Labour. We owe a huge debt to all pilots who helped us secure our freedom. It is regrettable that we were forced to secede, but this should be a warning to President Hudson that he is taking the Federation down a dangerous path. The rebelling systems have now shut down links with the Proactive Detection Bureau, which monitors all private and public communications. More federal factions are now debating secession as the only way to guarantee their citizens' privacy rights. Pilots who fought for New Kuwemba Labour can now claim their rewards from Gagnon Port Station. Lead Shotep for Equality will reimburse federal auxiliaries at the Fortress Liberty megaship. Aegis probed by Board of Inquiry. An investigation into the tri-superpower organization Aegis is seeking to establish the reasons for its failures. Dr. Paul Baumann, chair of the Independent Board of Inquiry, outlined its scope. The initial phase is to fully understand the work of Aegis before examining strategic and operational decisions. Interviews with senior staff have been scheduled, with Admiral Aidan Tanner providing details on military activity. One specific area of attention is the lost megaship Alexandria. We are performing a thorough analysis, including background checks on its crew. Hyperspace physicists are theorizing probable causes for its failure to arrive at HIP 30944. We will be raising issues of culpability, specifically whether the concentration of Guardian artifacts aboard the Alexandria directly led to systems coming under Thargoid attack. Other incidents will be reviewed to identify possible grounds for negligence. Many prominent figures within Aegis have resigned, including Professor Albert
Surface scan by 50%.
Hethro, Director Yazoo Zit,
Surface scan complete.
and Dr. Mia Valancourt. All active projects have been suspended, with routine activities continuing under independent observation. Some politicians in all three superpowers have protested against the inquiry, concerned about weakening defenses against the Thargoids. Others believe Aegis is not fit for purpose, calling for a more localized approach to anti-Xeno operations. Zemina Torval creates new corporation. A new independent branch of Mastopoulos Mining has been established by its controlling shareholder, Senator Zemina Torval. The megacorp is owned by the powerful Mastopoulos family and operates throughout the Empire and beyond. However, Torval's position as a majority shareholder has allowed her to exert a strong influence on its activities. Senator Torval
Frameshift drive charging.
confirmed her plans in a statement to the Imperial Herald. Diversification is an effective strategy in the current business climate. Torval Mastopoulos Mining will have corporate autonomy, while
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
offering the same mining and transportation services to an emergent client base. Marlon Royce, business analyst for Vox Galactica, reported the persistent rumors of a rift between Zemina Torval and her cousin, CEO Gabriela Mastopoulos, may now be validated. Inside
Fuel scoping.
report that after decades of working behind the scenes, Torval wishes to provide a more tangible legacy for her own children.
Fuel scoping complete.
Already she has set her sights on a permit-controlled system as the headquarters
Warning. Temperature critical.
for this new company. As well as being renowned for her private wealth and corporate enterprises, Zemina Torval has been a prominent member of the Imperial Senate for decades. She has occasionally deputized as Chancellor and is known to be an outspoken champion of the Empire's traditions. Tensions inflamed in Marlonist colonies. The bombing of 2 Marlonist starports by the NMLA has caused political rifts and public protests across the colony systems. Local newsfeed The Marlin Standard reported on current events. Our entire society is still reeling in shock after last week's attacks against Stillman Hub and Tillman Point stations. There has been mass panic in fear of further terrorist strikes, with unprecedented scenes of violence against known neo-Marlonist supporters. Without the respected
System scan complete.
leadership of First Minister Jenna Fairfax, angry exchanges and recriminations have divided the Marlonist Parliament. Minister Aaron White claimed that we invited this tragedy upon ourselves by not voting for a neo-Marlonist Prime Consul. In response, Minister Octavia Volkov called for White's arrest as an accessory to mass murder. Some community leaders expressed sorrow at a lost opportunity to establish a Marlonist presence in the Imperial Senate. This is certainly the view of Acting First Minister Amrita Ross, who believes in rejoining the Empire. All of which has led to a baptism of fire for Prime Consul Coyote Tau, whose focus has been on arranging medical aid from the Alliance and Federation. It may be that the Marlonist consulate will soon be called upon to mediate between its own people. Thargoid cultists prepare for religious voyages. 3 megaships are being populated by the Thargoid cult, part of their latest effort to recruit members and find their alien deity. The first vessel, the Testament, will serve as a missionary ship and journey throughout the core systems, attempting to convert new followers to the Thargoid worshipping sect. While the mystical cult is typically secretive in nature, Vox Galactica obtained a quote from a member named the Second Witness of the 70th chapter. The masses are deaf to the voice of the Far God. What you see as alien monsters, we view as messengers from a very real multi-dimensional being. The Testament will help us carry the word of its imminent arrival. 2 other megaships have been outfitted for long-range journeys. The Perdition and the Sacrosanct will carry many thousands of cultists on what they view as a pilgrimage to the Far God. Dr. Alfred Ulyanov, a leading exotheologian and expert on the religion, commented, "This fringe creed, which has survived endless abuse and attacks, has now reached a surprising level of organization. Most of us associate the Thargoids with death and destruction, making it all the more remarkable that these people see only divinity." Federal forces combat new rebellion. Pilots Federation alert. In the Kuimba system, the Federation is fighting to prevent further factions from declaring independence. New Kuimba labor has broken ties with the Federation in protest against the government's civil surveillance program. Lead Shotep for Equality, a local federal faction, has been tasked to degrade the rebelling faction's military strength. President Zachary Hudson made a brief public announcement. "I call upon all federal auxiliaries to aid in this conflict. The reputation of the Federation cannot be so easily tarnished by such criminal action." Governor Sonal Mishra, the leader of New Kuimba Labour, also requested assistance. The
Surface scan by 50%.
Federal Accord
Surface scan complete.
is no longer fit for purpose. We require support to make a stand against this violation of our constitutional rights. 3 other federal factions are about to declare themselves as independent sovereign states: Selkana Labour, United HIP 108095 Values Party, and
Frameshift drive charging.
Chulu Future. These control a combined total of 28 systems. However, 2 recently seceded factions, the Coalition of Uterine and Glassgap Labour, are considering rejoining
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
the Federation, depending on the result of the Kuwemba conflict. Pro-independence pilots can support New Kuwemba Labour by delivering combat bonds to Gagnon Port Station. Federal auxiliaries can fight on behalf of Lead Shotep for Equality by handing in combat bonds at the Fortress Liberty megaship.
Fuel scoping.
Superpowers respond to new Onion Head. The Alliance, Empire,
Fuel scoping complete.
and Federation have clarified their official positions regarding the emergence of Onion Head Gamma strain. All
Warning, temperature critical.
Variants of the popular psychedelic drug remain illegal within federal space. Ambassador Jasmina Halsey, who was president in 3300 when the ruling was made, announced, "I am pleased that my decision to outlaw onion head stands. I still maintain that it leads to experimentation with more dangerous narcotics, and we must steer our youth away from that path." The Empire has also declared onion head illegal, despite rumors that it is imported by the wealthiest citizens for private use. Princess Aisling Duval told the media, "It was insulting enough that Delane was allowed into the Galactic Summit, but now he's peddling filthy drugs and pretending it's medicine. I only pray that nobody loses a loved one to such poison, as I have." The Alliance has not made a broad ruling regarding onion head, which is illegal in the majority of member systems but available in those classified as
Frameshift drive charging.
having anarchy governments. However, Deputy Prime Minister Angela Corcoran addressed the issue. As with most trade, we defer to the legislation of local authorities. But we are in contact
3, 2, 1. Engage.
with the IHO and are keeping a close eye on the situation. Onion Head Gamma strain remains on sale in selected systems governed by industrial anarchy factions.
Fuel scoping. System scan complete. Fuel scoping complete.